wonderful illustrations or video collages. It's not Domination Tuesday. I'm just coming on today because I'm pissed. Okay. Why am I pissed, guys? Because in the first day of Joe Biden's presidency, I literally knew nothing was going to fundamentally change, right? He signed 15 executive orders. They don't apply to us. Why? Because we're not government workers. We don't have anything. We're not FDIC insured. We're not backed by the government in any way. Nothing has changed for us. Yet I see liberals on the streets celebrating and thinking things have changed because he did some kind of anti-LGBT discrimination reset that Trump had. Okay. Day two, he decides that he's going to take our military, Joe Biden, and he's going to go ahead and he's going to put it in Syria, back in Syria, because Trump tried to withdraw from Syria, right? He put our military back in Iraq. He put our military back in Afghanistan. And we are now experiencing interventionist wars again. So there haven't been any wars we started. Okay, Obama expanded the wars from 2 to 7 during his 8 years of president. After that, Trump didn't start any more wars. That's one of the reasons why the mainstream media and the military-industrial complex, who he spoke freely about, didn't like him, wanted to get him out of office. Now that he's out of office, the first thing Joseph Elizabeth Biden did, day one, was appease the military-industrial complex, appease the banks, which are the people that he's indebted to. And now, then he backed out of the $2,000 stimulus checks. I mean, the stupid of the partisans is unparalleled to anything. I understand that. But how can any person with a brain not see what's going on here? Okay, so now I see it today in Politico. Politico today. Republicans bludgeon Biden's big stimulus plans. Republicans bludgeon Biden's big stimulus plans. Guys, do you not remember that we had Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff win in Georgia? So the Democrats have a majority in the House of Representatives, led by Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker. They have a majority in the Senate, led by Chuck Schumer, who, by the way, stabbed Bernie Sanders in the back. So we couldn't get the $2,000 checks, and went ahead and went through Bernie Sanders to get that the military bill. The military bill that they needed a two-thirds. Whenever a president vetoes something, you need a 2/3 majority in Congress. They got it. So not only did Mitch McConnell orchestrate a coup against the American people with those $2,000 stimulus checks, Chuck Schumer went along with it, and so did 12 other mealy-mouthed, bootlicking Democrats. So guys, the partisan game is up. The Democrats and Republicans are shitting on all of us, guys. There's no time for partisan politics anymore. There isn't. We can get back to partisan politics when we have a government that works for all of us and not the people. We don't have that right now. We can talk about the left and the right later. We can't afford to talk about our petty differences anymore. The Democrats and Republicans literally went around the independent of Vermont to pass a defense bill where we had leverage to get $2,000 checks. Chuck Schumer stabbed Bernie Sanders in the back. Okay? Think about that. Now, they have a majority in the House of Representatives. They have a majority in the Senate. They have a majority they have the President of the United States, President Joseph Biden. They have a supermajority in all of the government. And they still blame the Republicans. Still blaming the Republicans. How? How in the world are they still blaming the Republicans? Republicans bludgeoned Biden's big stimulus. So this is from the Senate Minority Whip, John Thune. The New York Times. I don't think it can get 60 because even the people on the other side would be inclined to want to work with the administration or something like that. Now, this is the Senate Minority Whip, so he's a Republican. The Minority Whip is for the $2,000 checks. The Democrats are supposedly for the $2,000 checks because they promised the people of Georgia They literally promised that money to the people of Georgia. So they must be, right? It must just be common sense, right? So if the Republicans and the Democrats are not, and none of them are for the $2,000 checks or against the $2,000 checks, how can you not get 60 votes, Mr. Thune? How can you possibly not get 60 votes if the Democrats and the Republicans in the Senate and the House are for the $2,000 checks? Well, I think this is bullshit, guys. I smell bullshit. You know how I smell bullshit? Do you remember when Nancy Pelosi, just when Trump asked for $2,000, Nancy Pelosi immediately passed the $2,000 checks in the House of Representatives. Remember that, guys? Remember when Nancy Pelosi immediately passed in the House of Representatives the $2,000 checks? Do you see her doing that now? Do you see Nancy Pelosi passing anything in the House right now? This is Ellie Spawn. Oh, wait, hold on real quick. Ellie. What's up, Ellie? Yeah, I'm live right now. Do you want to come live with me? Because I have some things to talk about. If you're busy, that's okay. Okay, that's fine. They hear you right now. Do you hear that? Ellie's in her jammies. Hi. Yeah. Okay. So, can I call you back though? Because okay, I'll call you back. All right. So, Nancy Pelosi's not passing shit. That is because those $2,000 checks that she passed in the earlier, that was nothing but a virtue signal. She didn't want to pass those checks, just like she didn't want to pass the HEROES Act. Y'all see the HEROES Act lately? It's nowhere. These guys are playing games, bro. They're playing games. You want to know the best way to figure out if you have the votes or not? Put a vote on the House floor. Put a vote on the Senate floor. Have a vote. That's how you know if you have the votes. And this minority whip, your job is to whip the vote. Nobody's doing anything in this government, bro. Nobody's doing a goddamn thing. So that's what I'm pissed, guys, is that we are seriously being fucking suckered right now. If you believe a single goddamn thing that comes out of the mainstream media, but they can't do this, they can't, but the Republicans, they can't, but they have a super majority in the government. They have Republicans whose constituencies are calling them every day asking for stimulus. They can pass whatever the fuck they want to pass, guys, and they're not. And notice right now that the Republicans are silent as fuck. And notice right now that Nancy Pelosi is silent as fuck. And notice right now, guys, notice right now that there's nothing coming out in the House and there's no vote happening on the floor. So all of the bullshit excuses that they're giving you guys about the stimulus aren't true. They don't want to pass it. They do not. I repeat, they do not want to pass the stimulus. Just like they didn't want to pass the HEROES Act. Just like they didn't want to pass the $1.8 trillion COVID relief package that Trump was wanting to pass so he could have his name on the check. They are playing politics with you. They're playing politics with your lives. They're playing politics with your families. They're playing politics with your jobs. They're playing politics with your whole entire existence, guys, because they do not care. And all the excuses about the Republicans, they have no more. They have the votes. And Bernie Sanders literally said they could go through the budget reconciliation to accomplish all this, guys. He gave them a path. He gave them another path. Even without 60 votes, they still won't do it. Do you understand, guys? Do you understand? They don't give a shit. They don't. I hope you understand. I hope you take this moment as a moment of truth because they do not give a shit about us. So no more right or left. The pathway forward, guys, I mean, our forefathers, our founding fathers would have taken a rope and a tree and gone to their houses in the middle of the night with torches and pitchforks. We're more civilized, I guess. I don't really see any other fucking pathway forward. Unless we take what happens when you do not get rid of an infestation? What happens when you let roaches live in your walls, guys? What happens when you let roaches live in your walls?